So the S1 that we see here, we're going to talk about the novelties. We're going to talk about, let's say, novelties within GhostSign, because we have recently launched a new version of GhostSign. And finally, we will look at a print and cut workflow, specifically for the roll cutter. And in the end, we're going to do a Q&A session. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to post them in the chat. My colleague will monitor this and keep, let's say, and ask them to me at the end of the session. We also have a couple of questions posted on Facebook, which we're going to answer. One of them is quite big to answer. It's a short question, but it's a big answer. So without further ado, let's look at the S1. So if we look at the S1, what are the, let's say, the major topics here that we are going to look at? Well, first of all, it's an updated look. You will notice that the machine has been completely changed. So not only on the outside, but also on the inside. Second of all, you'll see that where the Summa cut had the standard, let's say, one line display with buttons, that we now have a touchscreen, which is a lot more ergonomic. You will hear the word ergonomics a lot during the session, because the S1 has been adapted in such a way that it's more easier to use, more visible in terms of what you need to do. Grid rollers have changed colors as well. This is to match the unit itself. Gray and black is a nicer touch than the gold ones. However, they give the same, let's say, durability and same functionality like the previous ones. Furthermore, we have an updated cutting head, which you will see just a bit later. This cutting head has also been, let's say, updated in terms of, let's say, capabilities, and one of them is an increased cutting pressure, which is 600 grams. Now, there is a note on screen that you can see that the FX version is not able to go to 600 grams, but will go to 400 grams. Why this is purely because of the FX version is a more entry-level version of the roll cutters. We'll come back to that later. And then furthermore, connectivity, we have the usual USB connection. We also have Ethernet connection. Now, in the past, on the Summa cuts, we only had this on the units going from D120 to 160. Now, all of the units have Ethernet connection, even a D60. Even a 60 centimeter unit. And as you can see, we've included Wi-Fi as well. Now, an important note on Wi-Fi is it is only available in Europe, US and Canada. So unfortunately, it's not worldwide available. It's only available in these regions. Now, what kind of units do we have? Well, typically we have the standard units like we had on the Summa cut. So the D60, the S1 D60 or S1 D60, as shown in the text on screen, which is a desktop model, only available in Europe and APJ, so Asia Pacific. It is a desktop model and has an optional stand. We also have a D75, which is a US-only unit. It is also a desktop model with an optional stand. And then furthermore, we have a D120, so 1 meter 20 unit, a 1 meter 40 unit. The 140 FX is also there. So the FX is a unit designed for fixed sizes. So you can put in, let's say, popular sheet sizes and popular roll widths. You do not have a wide roller on one side as a buffer. You will have a fixed width. If you want to know what kind of fixed widths we have, just check out our website. They are all mentioned there. Furthermore, so no Wi-Fi is a very important one, and it has a slightly lower productivity, so less pressure and less acceleration, because the FX is a entry level unit for the 140. And then lastly, we have a meter 60 version or an S1 D160. Now, before we continue with this boring part in a presentation, let's just look closer at the unit itself. Looking closer at a few of the major improvements on the S1. Now, just purely focusing on what we call an improvement in ergonomics. The major visible improvement is the touchscreen. So the touchscreen itself enables the operator to quickly change the parameters. It has a big view, so he sees more parameters on screen. The major parameters he needs to change, for instance speed and pressure, are all very easy accessible from the main screen. So by just clicking on here, you enable a let's say a touch in or a dial in view where you can change your knife pressure. You can even test this by pressing the play button. So let's just press cancel. Here at the top right, you have access to all the let's say parameters within the unit related to flex cut settings, paneling, and so on and so on and so on. Now, looking further downwards towards the head, you can clearly see that it has a lot of blue highlights. These blue highlights indicate the parts that somebody can adjust or needs to adjust to work with the unit. Looking here at the knife holder, this knob is highlighted in blue, so if I open this up, this will enable me to remove my knife holder, so I can replace my knife. The top part of the knife holder is also highlighted in blue, so this means by adjusting this, I can set my knife depth. I can have my knife set deeper or less deep. Putting it back in is quite easy. You just simply insert this and tighten the screw again. Once it's tightened, you can continue quite easily. Looking at the pinch rollers itself, the pinch rollers are highlighted in blue as well. So these are highlighted in front and at the rear of the unit. So no matter where you are, you will quickly see where your pinch rollers are to adjust. Again, by adjusting your pinch rollers and moving them, you will hear clicking noises. These clicking noises indicate where our grit rollers are. Now, zooming out towards the stand. The stand itself, if you look closely, is made up of a mesh basket. This mesh basket enables you to, let's say, work relatively dust-free. So the previous baskets that we offered on our roll cutters were all textile baskets, which are a good type of basket type. However, they would collect more dust over a certain period. With these mesh baskets, we hope that this will be a thing of the past, that the amount of dust collected in the basket itself is reduced over time. Just because it's a mesh, everything falls through it on the floor. The leg itself, if you look here towards the bottom, you can see two wires coming out. Well, these two wires are there because one is the USB cable or Ethernet cable, the other one is the power cable. And if you look quite closely, there is no indication that the cable is on the outside because this leg itself has cable management, so everything is nicely tucked away in the leg itself. Looking at the rear of the unit, you can clearly see again the blue highlights. You have your grit rollers here highlighted nicely in blue, and your lever to open up also highlighted in blue, which improves the user friendliness of the whole system. If we take a closer look to the roll support here, you can clearly see that this roll support is totally different than on the let's say previous generation. First of all, we can easily remove both rolls. They have, similar to the Summa cut, they have two positions. However, what we did here is optimize the distances between these two rolls. One is the closest position where you can easily fit on a roll without those flanges that we always use, and on the outside this is the position for the flanges.